Best and worst NES sports titles. NES Koei games?
Yes, there are NES Koei games.
NES Koei games.
I don't have a huge amount of experience with the Koei games. That's why I didn't write any for the book.
No.
I had Karen wrote a bunch. Joe wrote a couple. Well, according to a certain... Where's my guidebook? I don't have it. I feel naked now.
Just go off the top of your head.
I can't do it, Ian. The best and worst NES sports titles. Let's start with worst. This is where a certain app's going to come into play. That'll be released relatively soon.
LJN's NFL. Pretty bad.
1 star according to a certain NES guidebook. I reviewed that one. LGN's NFL football. First to have that license, NFL license.
Yep.
But it sucked donkey nut.
It was pretty bad.
So slow and lethargic.
Yep.
You switch to that the overhead screen where it's like bird's eye view, and then to like the up close where all of a sudden it's like way too much area around to run and you're so slow. The plays were on the poster of that.
Yeah.
So it's not even like Tecmo Bowl or on screen. It's not even like you can just run a rudimentary play like 10-yard fight. You had to put in a weird button combination from the fucking poster. Not even the manual.
No, you had to have the poster laid out in front of you.
That's insane. And it's not even worth the trouble to do that at that point. That's a bad game.
LJN's MLB is a little bit...
It's a little bit better. You gave that 1.5 stars, which I think is fair. You can even argue for 2 stars. I think you gave it 1.5.
You could argue 2. I think I gave it 1.5. I wanted to like it a little bit more. It was Atlas developed. It was before Atlas was particularly
I remember liking it better than your review of it. I remember that. Doesn't mean it's a good game, though.
None of the teams felt different to me. If you just took it as like, we're just going to play one game, it's okay, I guess, but it all felt way too samey.
Roger Clemens MVP baseball is fucking horrible. And not because I hate Roger Clemens in real life.
It's a bad game.
That alleged steroid and fucking PED user, allegedly.
Magic Johnson's fast break?
Not as bad as Roger Clemens MVP baseball.
No, true.
This is why Roger Clemens MVP baseball is so bad. Because the ball comes in third person behind the batter, you have no response time to hit it. It's totally a crapshoot of hitting.
Yeah.
And there's nothing else good about it. The Quattro sports games are so bad they're good.
Yeah.
However, the baseball game in Quattro Sports is broken.
Yeah.
There's no AI in that game.
No.
I try to remember the review of it. I think when you hit it sometimes, the infielders don't throw the ball. Like,
no,
I mean,
they just don't.
They're just like, oh, I'm just hanging out playing this game. It's like you're playing a second player, basically, with that's not controlling it. So all those Quattro Sports games are just not good.
Games that I tried to be objective about, but I don't personally love a ton is was not a huge fan of the base. Never could really get into the Bases Loaded series.
You gave them fair reviews, though.
I did. I gave them fair reviews
2.5 or 3 stars.
Because I understand where people are coming from and I understand why it's a liked series. I just never really dug the perspective. Like I said, I'm not hating on them, but they just weren't.
You never liked the third person behind the pitcher?
They weren't like my speed. Nah.
So that's more middle of the pack or even above average for those. I mean, the RBI Baseball series you get better. We had arguments of that. 3.5 stars according to a certain NES guidebook.
Yeah.
And all 3 games are the same, Ian. They just look.
No, they're not. They're not all the same.
I played them and reviewed them.
They are not all the same.
I'm sorry that you get your Namco hard on for how those chubby characters look in the first one.
Comment section, please tell Pat.
No, you're not. Because
they're not all the same.
You're going to say my NES guidebook's inaccurate. And it's not. Best sports games. 2 big ones. The only 2 that got 5 stars are
Baseball Stars and
Tecmo Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yeah.
Which is still arguably one of the best football games of all time, and they still,
especially with the modern tweaks.
And they hacked the ROM.
Yeah.
Every year and put in new teams and added all 32 teams. Just masterpieces of games.
They're fantastic.
You can go back and play. You can just play Tecmo Super Bowl now and say, well, I can just play a full season of this. I'll just do it.
No, it's
with
great.
Injuries and full season, and choose your 8 plays, and you can swap in your plays. You can do player substitutions. Fantastic. In terms of ones that are overlooked, how about overlooked really good sports titles? That's where I wish I had a certain NES guide app right now, so I can.
I think the other Tecmo sports games are pretty decent.
Tecmo Baseball's okay. But Bad News Baseball is really good.
Yeah, Bad News Baseball is really good. Little League is a little light on options, but it's good.
I rated them the same, Little League and Bad News, but they're different games.
Yes.
They're entirely different. Because Little League Baseball is basically the Baseball Stars engine.
And if people are wondering why we're bringing up so many baseball games, it's
because there's 18 fucking baseball games on the system.
Yeah,
so you can go through a wide range of them. From average, like Legends of the Diamond, or Diamond, as it says in the top label.
Diamond.
Very average game, or slightly below average. And then Dusty Diamond's All-Star Softball is a fucking blast to play.
That one's always good. I wasn't even going to bring it up because I don't think it's overlooked.
Yeah, it's uncommon. So
yeah.
It's tough to get a hold of, but that's a really good one. If you want, you don't want to count racing as sports, really. It's kind of separate to me. How about World Champ? Really good boxing title. 4 stars I gave it. Enjoyable.
I didn't care for it.
Best of the best.
Best of the best
really
is
good.
Pretty fun. Yep.
Even on Nintendo, it's not the Super Nintendo one. There's less buttons. Best of the best. That's a very uncommon. I'd say borderline rare game for the NES, but it's very uncommon.
Oh, All Pro Hockey.
That's where I go. Give it a chance, Ian. Just above average. There's some problems with that game. It's almost like Nintendo just couldn't. Not enough horsepower to pull it off properly on the NES.
I don't know. I appreciate it for trying.
I gave it 3 stars. I didn't give it a bad review, but it's almost like not enough horsepower to do that.
Sure.
It basically it's like the NHL hockey game on the NES. Very uncommon.
Yeah.
Game, but it's not all there. It's just I wish I could read the review of it right now. But let us know in the comments what your worst or favorite NES sports games are. If you want to go something like Super Dodgeball is more like an action game. I'm talking sports.
If we're not counting racing, we're not counting dodgeball.
Super Spike V-Ball is an arcadey,
but it's
sports
fantastic.
Game. You want to count like extreme sports like Skate or Die?
No.
I give that 3 stars. It's better than average. Wasn't as good as I remember it because I was forced to play that and borrow it from my friend Kevin.
God,
had that game. How about TNC Sports?
No.
You don't count that as sports?
No. We're not counting.
Or TNC Surf Design. Not TNC Sports.
We're not counting the extreme sports.
Paperboy, is that a sports game? Competitive paper throwing?
We're moving on.
Really stretching this one out.
Yeah.